Hello Questers, I'm Mesh and you're watching an Everquest Next news update here on Questline. As most of you know, the mega gaming convention Gamescom is now ongoing in Germany. The convention that runs from the 21st through the 25th has already revealed some information about our beloved Everquest Next, and we are going to take a few minutes to go over each thing. However, first I would like to make a point to note that 95% of the information that I'm about to give you is about Everquest Next Landmark. And while some of these features could easily be shared into the actual Everquest Next title, the context of the video assured the viewers that this is landmark information. So if you're looking for info about Everquest Next in particular, be sure to subscribe because any further info gleaned from the Gamescom will be posted here in the coming days. So, moving on, let's get right into what we've learned. First things first, we're going to talk about something they call the Adventurer class. This is the class that you equip in Landmark. Basically, it's going to give you all your tools and abilities in the context of crafting and building and so forth. That said, it's going to be in the layout and functionality of Everquest Next, combat, and so forth. So that means that if they wanted to, they could transfer the Adventurer class into Everquest Next, and that's exactly what you can do. The way they explained it, if you do enough, I guess, as the Adventurer class or in Landmark in general, you can earn the right to have the Adventurer class as an option in character creation in Everquest Next at launch. That said, you can then equip it and use some of the other abilities as the multi-classing system, mix it with your warrior. I can assume that this means that you could have an ability to find nodes or something like that, and then you could put that in your ability bar, and your warrior could all of a sudden be have a minor degree in mining. Additionally, on the same note of character customization, they also said within Landmark, you're going to have your basic customization features such as hairstyles, facial features, and clothes at creation. They also mentioned that you have a process called tinting for your clothing, which is like dyeing, not actual death, but changing the color of your clothing, as you might assume. And you can do this by finding resources out in the world. Now, whether or not you have to convert resources into dyes, or you can actually just pick up a piece of coal and dye your stuff black with it, I don't know yet. And if we do learn any more information about that system, I'll definitely let you know. And we can only assume that the character customization features in Landmark, at least at Landmark's launch, are probably not going to be fully fleshed out as the creation system in Everquest Next, just because of how early on in development we are. But any sort of tinting system and a lot of these character creation systems we can assume are going to be in Everquest Next. So we're going to get a little bit of a sneak peek when we play a Landmark. They did talk about movement again, and they revealed a new bit of information confirming that there will be mounts. And while they didn't say that there were flying mounts, I can assume that those will not be in there. Because flying mounts are flying mounts. And that said, by extrapolating on the movement and making travel easy within Landmark, they also mentioned that you are able to travel between areas quickly through wizard spires, also known as fast travel. The wizard spires are mentioned in a ley line travel system, meaning, if I assume correctly, that you can travel from one wizard spire to another wizard spire in a straight line from one to the other, but you can't actually go Skyrim on its ass and open up your map and click on something and just travel there, like a lot of people are confusing. That said, while this is Landmark specific, I'm assuming that you can probably look to see this sort of system in the actual Everquest Next title. I know a lot of people hate fast travel and think you should run 40 minutes from town to town, but most people actually are against time sinks like that. So I'm sure this is going to be met with mixed results in terms of the community and how they see it. They also said that these wizard spires also allow you to travel between worlds. Now, this can be confusing because people are thinking this is about EverQuest Next. Hopefully, you aren't able to travel between servers and just willy-nilly travel between servers in the actual EverQuest Next game, because I think that's the same line as having the ability to join 10 different guilds. While in theory you're opening up everyone to having more social encounters, but in reality you're just making everyone that you meet worthless to that person. You're not adding any worth or any sort of sense of loyalty to the people they meet, so nobody matters and no social interactions are going to happen. That said, in the context of Landmark, this sounds perfect because you're going to be able to go to each world and sell what they're calling real estate. And this is another new bit of information given. You can bundle your claim rather. Say you build a city on this huge claim you've amassed. You've gotten several claims and pieced them together and built an actual city. Now you want to sell this city to, say, a guild or something like that. So you take your city and you go to the marketplace and you say, okay, I've got a city for sale. It's a nice claim, and nobody on your server, your Landmark server, wants it. You can travel to another server and try to sell it there. So this means that things like materials and plots of land are going to be able to sell locally. Meanwhile, your blueprints and so forth that will actually let people place these items in their own claims will likely be in a global marketplace, making it much easier to find what you're looking for and so forth. Expanding on the starting areas and on the fact that they're going to be marketplaces, they want these starting areas to be social hubs, meaning if you have friends, you can say, okay, I'm near this one, you can come here and find me, and then you're going to have these open air, they call them open air markets, stalls that you can inhabit and sell your items within. So, and additionally, these starting areas are going to be these landmarks, pun intended, I'm assuming, and so you can say, okay, I'm near the pyramids, come find me, or I'm near the statue, come find me, etc. Expanding on the market stalls, they didn't really say too much. It just builds into the idea that they want these landmark areas to be social centers of the servers. So there will be multiples, but by adding in the ability to sell materials and so forth at them, you're sort of making people come together in a central location. Additionally, they're probably going to add different of these other systems to make it so you're attracted to these areas, not just for selling your goods or meeting up and then moving out, but there will probably also be other features, which we'll probably talk about a little bit briefly later in this list. They talked about minor little things such as communication. You'll have your standard friends list, text chat, the use of SOE mode, guild structures, and so forth, and also voiceover, meaning voice chat. I think voice chat might be actually limited to a claim, meaning if you and your friends are all assigned to a claim and you're working on it together, you'll have the ability to talk within the game's technology to one another through voice chat. They also said that there is a feature called co-op build-out structure, which is why I think the voice communication is going to be limited to that. They did mention it a little bit within there, and basically this means that you can collaborate and collectively build a certain claim up through permission systems and so forth. They also talked about leaderboards, which means that you can build something, you can apply tags to it, people can go on your leaderboard, or maybe even just as they enter your claim, something pops up and asks them if it's awesome or not, and they'll upvote or downvote it, and then the leaderboard will react accordingly, putting the best voted items on the top of the list and giving the creative part of it a little bit of a competitive undertone. They talked also about crafting, which was actually really interesting to me. You find resources and you break them apart with your tools, which sounds pretty basic, but I think a lot of people think of it in terms of Minecraft. You find a cube, it's either stone or it's iron, and then if it's iron, you go, okay, I want that iron, so you mine it. But in this case, you're actually looking at a dynamically created vein of iron. It's not just a block of iron. It's you have to mine. You have to aim your pickaxe at where you want it and click it, and then hopefully get the iron out. It'll break into pieces, and you'll have iron. It's a little bit. It's the same, but it's different. As you get better materials, that's been confirmed by the panels and so forth. As you get better materials, you can go from a normal pickaxe to a really nice mithril pickaxe, and with that pickaxe you can mine faster, or you can mine more difficult materials with it, and so forth, a la Minecraft. One of the most interesting bits is that they did say that you need to be at a crafting table to create items. That said, they also said that there will be large group crafting tables for multiple people to use. Some will also be rare and need to be found out in the world. Now, where these items are dropping and how they're dropping, I don't really know, but it does mean that depending on how hard it is to get a group crafting table, or if you can even get one at all, this could be something that you can only find in these hubs, the spawning areas, which will attract people to them to use them. Or you can mass enough materials to earn your own and put it on your claim, and then your friends and you can combine. Now, how they actually work, I'm not really sure to this point. They could just mean that you craft things faster. They could mean that there's certain items that you have to have multiple people to build. Don't really know yet. They talked a little bit more about the tools and how easy they want them to be, but also very powerful. They showed a bunch of time-lapse videos of people taking a certain amount of time in-game to just pretty much overhaul this mountain into something else. And it was absolutely amazing. It was just a plain, mundane mountain, and all of a sudden they come along and they make it into the landscape that they want, or at the end, a like orcish fort of some sort, and it looks amazing, and it's really cool to watch. They then talked about Player Studio again, sort of reiterating a lot of the points, but they also did say that there would be achievement system and that you can track and follow things using filters and different social elements, meaning if you find someone who builds a lot of really cool stuff and you're like, man, I really want to follow this guy and be updated whenever he makes something new and excellent. So then you can be like, okay, you hit the follow button, and then all of a sudden the UI tells you each time that this person builds something new. So in addition, you have a filter system using tags. So whenever you build something or somebody else has built something, they can attach these certain tags, such as fantasy or science fiction, or castle versus landscape or something like that. And so whenever you go in there looking for a certain thing, you can be like, okay, I want to look at every medieval castle there is. It'll list everything tagged as medieval and castle, and you'll be able to see the best ones, probably also separated by the rating system. The most interesting point they made was they added or announced the real estate system, where you can package up your whole claim and sell it as if it was real estate. This is where they sort of explained where you can travel between worlds using the wizard spiral, travel between servers, and then sell your real estate at another server. Now this begs the question of, does that mean that they can come back and buy the plot on your server and then live there, or does that mean that your plot would move to their server as long as there's room, I guess, and so forth? Now that would be an interesting question that I hope gets answered at a later date. And with that said, the last bit I have for you is that they reconfirmed that there will be a single continent that's called the Norath continent, I guess, where you are only allowed to build certain things within a certain guideline, and within that continent, that's where they'll be pulling creativity from you guys to perhaps put into the game. And that's pretty cool, right? Yeah. So that's pretty much all we know from today's session of Gamescom. If any other information about the games come out from the convention, I'll make more videos. I'll post on our website, and I'll post on our Twitter. So if you guys need to know absolutely everything about Everquest Next and Everquest Next Landmark, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Questline EQ, or go to our website at followthequestline.wordpress.com. So until next time, follow the Questline.